Ain't no use in calling out my name, gal, like you never did before. Ain't no use in calling out my name, gal, I can't hear you anymore. When the rooster crows at the break of dawn, look out your window and I'll be gone. You're the reason why I'm traveling on. Don't think twice, it's alright. Walking down that long, lonesome road, gal, where I'm bound, I can't tell. Goodbye is too good a word, gal, so I'll just say fare thee well. Well, I ain't saying you treated me unkind. You could have done better, but I don't mind. You just sort of wasted my precious time. Don't think twice, it's alright. Ain't no use in turning on your light, babe, the light I never know. Ain't no use in turning on your light, babe, I'm on the dark side of the road. Still I wish there was something you could do or say, make me change my mind and stay. You never did too much talking anyway. Don't think twice, it's alright. Ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe, it don't matter anyhow. Ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe, if you don't know by now. I'm a-thinking and a-wondering all the way down the road.
What's going on, everybody? Sorry for the gap in the episodes. I've been doing a lot of stuff, been busy lately, and I'm also in the midst of building a home, so it's been a minute. But I got a couple that I've been working on that I'm going to get out there. This one will be our next one. But welcome to episode 3. Yeah. Think there for a second. We're not that far, but I had to think on it for a minute. Give me a break. It's been a minute. Yeah, I had to think on it. Been up to a lot of stuff. Painting. You ever have your own home? Pay somebody to paint. It sucks, dude. It really sucks. But I got a nice antique white, so kind of nice. Anyways, welcome to episode 3. Probably gonna ruffle a little feathers with this episode because people are probably not gonna like this one, and I really don't give a shit. I stand in what I believe, and so you're not gonna change my mind. And plus, this is my opinion. I mean, this is going to be a good old-fashioned bitch session is what this is going to be. Yeah, I've been through a lot lately, and I've been stressed out a lot. And, yeah, I've just been going through a decent amount. And I'm going to bitch about some shit. But the major topic for bitching on this episode is going to be about a certain generation and about why they suck. Because they do. And get my computer going here for a second. There we go. Yeah. Gen X really, really sucks. I've been going through a decent amount lately, and the older I get, the more I just can't deal with people anymore. people have gotten so stupid. God, they have gotten so stupid, and they are so dumb. And that's a topic in itself. I mean, I could have a literal episode about dumbasses, and I'm going to stop myself there because I'll probably make an episode about dumbasses. So I need to stop what I'm saying and save that for another episode. But what I'm going to be talking about today is about how Gen X, they're entitled assholes and they kind of suck. Now, I'm going to throw in a disclaimer. Not everyone in Gen X sucks. Let me be clear. That's obvious. I'm not attacking everyone, but I am attacking a lot of them in that generation. They fucking suck. And I can hear everybody on the other side of the thing right now. Like, well, you're a Gen Z. And Gen Z, yes, I know. Gen Z, Gen Z sucks too. Believe me, I know this. A lot of people that I know in Gen Z, they suck too. And some of them are terrible people. And they just suck. And they whine about everything. And they just bitch and moan about everything. Believe me, I know this. But again, we're not talking about Gen Z today. And part of my, if you've seen it, the Lost episode 2 about the entitled assholes, a lot of that is aimed toward Gen Z. Because a lot of Gen Z are entitled assholes. They just are. And they act the way they act. But go look at that. It's on YouTube. It's called U.S.A. or MIT U.S.A. Lost episode 2, entitled Assholes. That's the title. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a good video, I think, anyway. And if you haven't seen any of the other ones, go do yourself a favor and watch the other videos. If you haven't, I don't know why you're here. Go do something else. No, but as I was writing my kind of synopsis on why this generation sucks, I come across actually a good quote by a man. Cannot remember who his name was, or what his name was, not who, sorry. But the quote of his was a big half paragraph of Gen X traits. And I'm just going to read some of them off because they're absolutely spot on. Gen X traits are serious aggression and anger issues, pathological liars, narcissistic behavior, entitled at demand respect for just gracing the world with their existence, never have any remorse or accountability for their actions. That's true. Compassionless, selfish, inconsiderate, and have a complete inability to think in an organized, logical way. Holy shit, that is the nail on the head there, bud. Not thinking in a logical way. Like, holy shit. Like, wow. That one there, that's the one, dude. I don't know how many Gen Xers I know. They do not think of anything in a logical way or even a realist way. They do not. And I got to give, my other half the credit of being more of a realist than I am. She just is. We come from completely different family backgrounds, and she is just more of a realist. I'm trying to kind of step further into that realm. I haven't really made it there yet. So I can't completely sum up my entire, embodiment of a realist. I can't. But she definitely is. Of course, it rubs off on me a little bit, and sometimes it'll rub me the wrong way, but she is one. And Gen Xers are not realists. They make dumb decisions. Really dumb. And again, same can be said for everybody. This is the last time I'll say it. Everyone, all generations do this. But we're talking about Gen X tonight. So bear with me. I'm going to go through some of my other problems with Gen X. So to go back to what I was talking about, problems with Gen X. They're always wanting recognition for doing the smallest shit. And to be honest, Gen X parents have really passed this stupid trope and trait down to the Gen Zers. Okay, I see it a lot in Gen Z, and the only way that, again, it goes back to parenting. Gen X are horrible about this shit. They are always wanting recognition for the smallest shit. If you don't go out of your way to show that, oh my God, you did this, holy shit, whatever, what if you don't go out of your way to do that, it's considered an insult, and then you're the bad guy for not, talking about it or expressing any kind of awareness to the said small thing that they did. Again, going back to demanding respect for just gracing the world with their existence. Let's see. Yeah. Unbelievably toxic workers. That's definitely Gen Z as well. And the formality when it comes down to this kind of stuff, I would say, is not necessarily like you're going to walk in and they're going to be, oh my God, they said something racist or something. I don't give a shit about that kind of stupid stuff. Like, grow up, hair, more like. But the problems with them when it comes to the toxicity is they are the type that, again, the aggression all the time about the littlest shit. The narcissism is overwhelming in this generation. It just is. These are the type of people that I meet, out. I mean, for instance, today I am in town and I went to a reputable, food mart that has a deli in it. I just wanted to get, a thing of potatoes and um, just a chicken, the 3-piece chicken meal. That's all I wanted, okay? There's this definite Gen Xer behind the deli counter. And I'm doing everything you're supposed to. I'm polite. How you doing, sir? Can I get, just a box, or I don't know how big a box or whatever, just of my potatoes. And then I just want to get a chicken meal to go, whatever. And this dude is just a complete dick. Like, I didn't fucking put you in your job that you're doing. I didn't put you there. You did it. You put yourself there. I didn't do it. And I'm not hating on nobody. Anybody right now, especially in our country, that has a fucking job, more power to you. You're doing something. You have a job. You're not laying on your ass, okay? Collecting fucking EBT or disability or whatever you collect, sitting on your ass at home eating Cheetos. But Moreover, this guy, just complete dick. Like, complete asshole. Just has an attitude over every question I ask him. And I'm being the utmost polite as possible to this dude. And throws the stuff on the counter, throws it in the sack, pay for it with the card, grab the sack, all right, see ya, you know. It's like, these fuckers always have an attitude. And you think, coming from a generation and teaching a said generation, claiming Gen Z always has an attitude about stuff, always pissy about something or always raving about something. And these fuckers have an attitude all the fucking time. Excuse the language, but it really gets under my skin. I'm like, seriously, this shit is stupid. And I know I'm going to offend tons of people out there that have already seen the show that are of a certain age group. I really don't give a shit. And if you're offended, well, you're probably one of the ones I'm talking about. If you're not offended, then maybe you're part of you're part of Gen X, you're part of Gen Z, you're a millennial, and you understand and see that these are serious issues that go on in this generation. Another thing that I was going to get me going again is and God, I hope if somebody my age is watching this show, they will get this as much as I get it. But when I was a kid saying, I fucking hate that. I hate that so much. And I appreciate it and I don't, okay? I love hearing stories about whatever, or a Gen Xer talk about way back when. I will sit and listen. I'm a very good listener, and I like hearing some of these stories. It's a shame some of the things that they did do as a kid we can't do now. That's seriously a shame. It really is on some of the things. It is. It sucks. But the well, it's not hard, or you're just lazy excuse kind of coincides with the when I was a kid thing. When you were a kid, things were not like they are now. They're just not. When you were a kid, certain things that you could do, you cannot do now. Just for instance, people don't fight people anymore. And I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing. It's not the greatest of things that people don't fight anymore. This is why people get built up stress and, bad things happen because no one, goes out of their way to squander the issue right then and there. They let it build into something. And then, you have suicides and other really bad shit. But, these are things that Gen X loves to say that, we were going to just go out in the parking lot and fight it out, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, well, now you're crucified if you do that. And you're looked at as a bad guy. I get so sick and tired of hearing when I was a kid saying, when I was a kid, we did this. When I was a kid, we did that. When I was a kid, I already had this, and I had this, and I had this. That's another big one. When I was a kid, I already had this, and I already did this, and I already did that. And hell, I already had this. I already had a home. Hell, I already had my first car, had paid off. No one gives a shit. No one gives a shit. Gen Z can't do it. They cannot do that. With everything the way it is, with everything in the country that's going on, inflation the way it is, what people make, the amount of money, the dollar becoming nothing anymore because of our shit politicians and the people running this fucking shit show. Like, no, Gen Z can't. No, Gen Z hasn't moved out yet. No, Gen Z can't afford, $2,000 fucking rent. No, Gen Z can't afford to buy a home. And to piggyback off of that, there's the same generation that says, well, they're flipping burgers and they're making $15 an hour. That's too damn much. And while I agree, yes, that kind of job, fast food and kind of doing those kind of things, those jobs that are kind of related to that, they are not a long-term job. I understand that completely, that they are not a long-term thing. They're just there for people to eventually flourish and go to what they want to do in life, whatever job that may be. Understand that completely. But the thing that Gen X refuses to fucking understand is the fact that you cannot live without that wage. You cannot pay the guy who flips burgers less than what the minimum wage is. He will starve. He will not survive. It cannot happen. It will not. End of story. Now, why I think he shouldn't make as much as he is, of course he shouldn't. But that also goes back to the guys in the back room. Quit fucking raising everything up, because as soon as the freaking price of milk goes up, guess what? Minimum wage has to go up. You can't afford the shit. And this to me, some people would think, oh, this is more like a left-wing thing. And I don't know, maybe it is partial of my, the social justice, issues when it comes to our inflation and payments and all that kind of shit. But I do agree with Gen X as far as, yes, no, they shouldn't be making as much. But it's Gen X and the older generations that run this country that have turned the inflation into what it is now, to where my generation cannot afford this shit. Why do you think I'm building a house? Because it was cheaper than fucking paying rent or going to buy a house. And it's still not cheap at all. And it causes a lot of fucking heartache. Like, I'm fucking going nuts. Like, my head is in eggland. But moving on, moreover, to the next point. This is another one that gets me. And I seriously don't understand it. Tech issues, dude. Like, come on. So, the next thing on the tech issues, Gen Xers are not boomers, yet they can't seem to work any technology, despite growing up with the rise of technology. I understand being older and not being able to understand, the how it works, and I get it. Like, I seriously do. But I get it more from a boomer viewpoint. Because it makes a little bit more sense. They are not, sure, they grew up with it somewhat, but they are not as, technological as, say, millennials and Gen Z are. But Gen X still, talking 61 to 80 birth range, they still grew up when technological stuff was coming and on the rise. And we're talking about people too that, of course, age varies, but, going off of what I know, you're talking, early 2000s, they would have been in probably their 30s, maybe, or just about at their 30s, 2010s are in their 40s, We're talking about people that grew up, with cell phones on the rise, and I'm not saying grew up, but you know what I'm saying. They were not that old. I'll just say that. They were not that old when phones, even flip phones, were on the rise. They grew up with freaking landlines, with the phone on the wall, Yet, they don't know how to work their phones. They don't know how to work a fucking computer. They don't know how to work most modern cars now. They can't figure out the damn radio in them. But yet, they look at millennials and Gen Z as they're just dumb. And it's like, no. Yeah, there might be some of us that are dumb, yes, but not all of us are dumb. They're just not. We're just not, and we're not the same either. Just because what you did as a kid does not mean that me as a kid were the same thing at all. Not even close. But, this is the kind of shit that always kills me, is the fact that they aren't boomers. They're Gen X, and they cannot work technology. You grew up with it. And the minute that somebody from Gen Z or a millennial doesn't know how to work whatever conundrum they have slapping themselves into on their phone or their computer, or even their car for that matter, they look at us like, well, you're just stupid. You should know. And I'm like, fuck, dude, you should know too. You grew up with the shit. Hell, by the time I was driving, the new iPhone was the shit, By the time I graduate high school, that was just a couple years before COVID hit. We're fair along in the technological world. And yet that generation, for whatever reason, is not evolving in it. And this goes to my next point. It's seriously this, they bitch and moan about Gen Z being on their phones all the fucking time. And yet this is the same generation that doesn't know how to work technology. Thinks the solution is I'm going to break the computer because it's a piece of shit because I'm doing something wrong. But no, it's really the computer's fault. So I'm going to break it and smash it or throw it on the ground. This is the same generation that does this kind of shit, yet they're on their phones all the fucking time. And don't get me wrong, I will back. Yes, Gen Z has a problem with their fucking phones and they cannot put them down. And that shit does need to be solved because the phones are already a problem anyway. I'm saying this as I'm recording myself on my phone. They are a problem. They're a complete fucking distraction. The apps that are on them now are so fucking stupid. I had to get rid of TikTok because of how much fucking time I would waste on that shit. It's time wasting and time wasted. You live once. I don't want to be the guy that dies. All I can remember is the 30 minutes of freaking death scrolling that I did on TikTok of all the videos that somebody fucking did something with, some sculpture or a banana or oh, look what I bought from the store. Here's my fucking store haul. No one gives a shit. Just no one gives a shit about what you eat. Just shut up and eat whatever you bought from us. Stop making fucking videos about that. That's dumb. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. Oh God, where was I? I lost my place. Yes, they bitch about how Gen Z is on their phones all the time. Yet they're on their phones all the time. And it's the fucking truth. It really is. I'm sorry, but it is the truth. I know so many people that bitch and moan. People that are close and, talk to me about, their kids my age or even, younger than my age, even in a different generation that are on their phones or whatever. It's the same people though that are like, on Facebook 24/7, or they're on TikTok 24/7. Like, cut my generation a little bit of slack because one, everyone's guilty of it, and Gen X is not that great at it either. They are glued to those things, yet they can't work them somehow. So I don't know how that works, but whatever. And then to my final point on this topic, the typical, they bitch about how Gen Z is lazy, doesn't want to work, won't work. And this goes back to before on my kind of left view on that. They bitch about that, but don't recognize that Gen Z isn't going to work for fucking peanuts down at the docks and, minimum wage. Again, on the minimum wage thing, I don't think that, I don't think that people that are in fast food or any of those like jobs that are not really a tie down type of job, they're like a starter job, your high school job, your job you're doing during college or something, whatever. Those jobs, I understand, only getting paid so much. But the thing is the amount of people that are in those jobs, sure, again, it's not the job that you stick with. It's the job you start out with and then work your way to doing what you want to do. Totally understand that. Yet, you still, if you are doing that job, especially if you're in college or something, you have a place you're renting, have to pay for and shit, you got to be making something enough to pay your rent, pay your utilities, and buy food. You got a car, you got car payments, insurance, shit like that. You have to have enough money to be paying for these things. And if not, well, you're going to get another job, and then you're just never gonna, fucking have time to yourself or anything. But something Gen X never understands, and I am sick of that one. I am so sick of hearing that trope about how, and don't get me wrong, yes, a lot of Gen Z is fucking lazy. They need to get old on life and quit being lazy, because they're not doing anybody any favors, even themselves, by being lazy and not doing shit. Pick up your nuts and move on with your life and start making something of yourself. But the Gen X point of view of it, about it, not not wanting to work or whatever, No, Gen Z is not going to, we're not going to go out of our way to get a job that doesn't pay us shit, so then we just can't live or eat, pay our rent, which is already fucking high because of everyone else come before us that made it that way. And if you want to play the blame game, then that's who I'm blaming. All this shit all the problems we have now, I'm blaming previous generations for. But Gen Z did start the give me everything now type deal. So there is that. But yeah, this was just a good old fashioned bitching session about something that's just been coming more and more to light the more I wander around and the places I go and the people I meet, shit like that. It's just, they're assholes. Sorry if you're offended. I really don't care. Again, I can make a whole video why Gen Z sucks. So again, I'm not. Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe for me when it comes to shit. I attack everyone. So I really I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know, again, I know it was just a bitch session, and maybe people like hearing me gripe about this shit. Maybe people think it's stupid. If you do, leave something in the comments. Tell me. More than happy to, talk about it. But again, yeah, that's about all I got. Hope you guys like the show, like the episode. Leave a like, subscribe to this thing, and if you haven't seen any of my other episodes, go out and check them out. I think my funniest one, at least to me anyway, right now is Walmart Sucks. So check that one out. That's a good one. But yeah, we'll see you guys later. This has been Made in the USA, episode 3. Fuck me, I hit the button. God damn it.